Hi. So, my name is Brandon, and I wanted to make a video because, number one, I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of making videos, just because I sound stupid. I think I sound stupid talking to a camera, but I know I'm not talking to a camera, I'm talking to you. But in my mind, I'm talking to a camera, which is hard for me to wrap my mind around. And I think maybe as I make more videos or I do more things like this, that it'll be easier for me. So I hope that you take that into consideration when you watch this, that I'm a little nervous while I'm doing this, even though I'm by myself in my house. But anyway, this is the first video, and I wanted to try to make it to try to describe or explain why I wanted to make this website. This website, My Masters of the Universe Memories, I had the idea for it when I attended PowerCon. I went to PowerCon. I found out about PowerCon through the internet, Facebook in particular, and I've been a Masters of the Universe collector my whole life, and I kind of fell away from it. You know, as you get older, things progress, things change, and I just, I collected toys my whole life. I had my dad, the way I got into it was my dad, he collected vintage G.I. Joes from the 60s, and when I was a kid, when I was 9 or 10, he and I used to go to garage sales, and so I had the toys when I was little. I had the toys when I was, the line started when I was 3, and I had all the toys growing up. I would get, you know, 1 or 2 toys every Christmas, and I would play with those, and they were my main toy. As I got older, I stopped buying them, but then when we started going to garage sales, this would be the late 80s, 88, 89, we would go to garage sales, and he would look for vintage G.I. Joe stuff, and sometimes we were successful and sometimes we weren't, but this was also around the time that kids that were my age and grew up with me started to grow out of Masters of the Universe. So we would go, and if he saw these at the garage sales and I was with him, or sometimes when I wasn't, he would pick them up for me, and the kids were, you know, the parents were selling them for the kids, or they were selling the collections without the kids knowing, or they were trying to get rid of them so we could pick them up pretty cheap. So I started collecting Masters of the Universe at that young age, and Masters of the Universe was always a very large part of my childhood. I remember the very first toy I got, and I remember getting it, and the feelings I had at the time when I got it. I was probably 3, I think. I'm going to talk about that a little later, but I was around 3 or 4, and so I've had them throughout my childhood. And the reason I decided I wanted to make this website was I found out about Masters of the Universe Classics a little late. I didn't find out about Masters of the Universe Classics until 2010, I believe, and I think I found out about it just by kind of being on the internet and researching He-Man. I had known about He-Man.org for a while. I had never really signed up. I had never decided. One thing was because I have a Gmail account, and it sounds stupid, but I have a Gmail account, and it says they don't recognize that when you're making a login. So I thought, well, it's not that important, so I didn't do it. But I found Masters of the Universe Classics, and I decided I wanted to sign up, and through that I found other people that collected them, like James Sawyer, Patrick Fogarty, and I started following them, like on Facebook and things. And I really liked the things that they were doing with the videos. I really liked the things that they were doing, reviewing the figures and talking about the new figures that were coming out, doing the bios, and the effort they put into their websites. And I really enjoyed those a lot. So that's how I got involved and wanted to go to PowerCon, is that I wanted to, number one, meet these people, number two, see if I was the only one that I'm the only one that I know of in my immediate vicinity, I guess you could say. I don't know if you could put it like that, but I'm the only one that I know of that collects Masters of the Universe, other than the people on the internet. And it was something for me that I wanted to do, to meet these people, to to have something in common, to be able to do something, and know that I wasn't the only weird one on the internet that was obsessive about Masters of the Universe. And so I wanted to go to PowerCon. And PowerCon was almost, for me, it sounds silly saying this, but for me it was almost a religious experience. And because these figures were more than just a toy to me, they were kind of part of my life. And when I talk about it, I sometimes get a little emotional, and when I say that out loud, it sounds silly. But when I met Mark Taylor I went to the panel he was on, and I met Mark Taylor, and I went up to him afterwards when we were having the panel signing, and I went up to him and I had him sign my book. And I just remember sitting in his panel and thinking, this is the guy that created something that was such a large part of my life. And when I got up to him, I couldn't articulate that to him, and it was hard for me. I got emotional. The only thing it's happening again. The only thing I could say to him was, your creation was a very large part of my childhood, and it really was. And I think the reason it was is because when I'll show you this is the first toy I ever got from Masters of the Universe. I feel silly getting emotional about it, but the very first one ever, I'll get back down to what I'm pulling these toys out of in a second. But and I really hope this is filming too. Otherwise, I'm going through all this for nothing. But the very first toy I got was Beastman, and I still have it. I don't know if this is the actual Beastman I had, but I do still have the actual Beastman I have. The Beastman, and when I see this figure, there's a couple of things that come to mind. Number one, I miss my grandmother. I was with her when I bought this, and she's gone now. And this reminds me of her. I still remember getting it, and I was young. This came out in 1982. I was born in 78, so I was 4 or maybe 5. It might have been around in 83. I was 4 or 5, and I remember getting this and taking it out of the package, which we used to do back in the old days. And I remember putting it on the shelf, and I just sat it there and I looked at it, and I still remember doing that. As I never really played with them. They were always something that I just wanted to have and look at. I mean, I did play with them. There's plenty of them in here that are all worn out, but this brings back a lot of memories. And the other part, so my grandmother's not with us anymore, and I remember playing with this at her house. And the other part is that my parents got divorced around that time. And my parents got divorced, and it was hard on me. I was only 5 when they got divorced, and I didn't understand what was happening. All I knew was, my life was changing, and I went to live with my mom. And a 5-year-old kid can't articulate that to somebody, the feelings that they're having. So He-Man and all these toys that I used to play with were my friends. And sorry, I feel stupid. It's so stupid. I'm 33 years old. So they were my friends, and they were something that I could talk to, and they weren't just toys to me. So the reason I wanted to make this website is because I don't think that I'm the only one that feels like this. I don't think that I'm the only one who, these aren't just a toy or a collection or a something to put away for the future. These are not just things that I need to get in arguments with people about over reverse shoulders or paint schemes. And these are memories that people have. These pieces of plastic represent feelings and emotions and memories that people had, and I feel like I want to share that with people. I realize that at PowerCon is that these are not, people didn't just travel across the country. I didn't have to travel that far. I live in Sacramento, so I just went down to LA, and I have a sister who lives down there, so I was able to see her and spend time with her and do all that kind of stuff. But people travel across the country or from around the world to come and take part of this this convention for toys. And the reason people do that is because these are not just toys to them. It's memories from their childhood, and some are good and some are bad. And I think that sometimes we lose sight of that, especially when we spend $20 on a new toy or an action figure that we feel should be a certain way, and maybe it isn't. But I like everything that they do. I mean, not everything, but I like the new toys, and I like all the things that come out. I can't buy them all because they're expensive. I don't know if I'll be able to get the Wind Raider or not. That's you know, Christmas time, and I have kids, and I'm trying to get that all worked out, and so I don't know if I'll get the Wind Raider. But I'm signed up for the sub, and I'm pleased with all the figures. I like most of them. Some of them I didn't like from the beginning, and I want to talk about that. So the reason I probably should wrap it up, but I moved recently, and I went through all my stuff. My parents said, you need to come over and get all these boxes. So we came over and got the boxes, and in the box, I knew I still had these, but in the boxes I found this huge storage box, and inside the storage box are all of my old He-Man figures. I have them all bagged up. Like I said, I collected them from when I was a kid. These are all from when I was a kid. This is a bag full of the mini comics, so Merman and all that stuff. And what I'd like to do with these videos, if you'll indulge me, is I'd like to go through maybe 1 or 2 figures a week. Stinkor, Grizzlor, Too Bad. Go through them and talk about my memories about them and what I remember, you know, getting them, or what I remember from my childhood about it. And I'd like to be able to see Orko. I like to be able to see what you guys think about that, and also, you know, if you'd be willing to share your memories with me, because I know that I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels like this. If you want to talk about that, that'd be great. I hope you'll stick around. I think I'm a little more comfortable making these videos now. I really hope this is recording. I know I said that before, but I'm gonna feel terrible if it isn't. So leave me your comments, you know, either on my website, mymotumemories.com, or I have a Facebook, My MOTU Memories on Facebook, or Twitter, My MOTU Memories on Facebook, or Twitter. Leave me messages there, or you can email me. Go to the website, mymotumemories.com. Leave me messages there, and I look forward to it. I hope this turns out good, and sorry about getting emotional there, but these things mean a lot to me. This is the nude Beast Man. I guess I'll share it with you while I'm here. I took this to the PowerCon with me. James saw it. I showed it to him. I had Scott sign the back for the where it says the real name. I don't have a problem with the real names. I guess some of them. This is Rakaz. I don't know where he comes up with them, but I could talk about that later. But I had the 4 Horsemen sign it, and I like these. James doesn't like that I don't open them, but you know, I like to look at them. I don't need to hold them and touch them and stuff. So I had the 4 Horsemen sign it on the cover right here. And a funny aside, I asked Corn Boy when he was signing it. I said, you know, because they all sign in a different corner. I said, do you always sign the same corner? And I guess he had to think about it. And he's like, yeah, I think I do. So they just they sign so many all the time. They probably just always sign the same corner. But anyway, that's funny. So I had Scott Heidlich sign it on the back where he came up with the name. So anyway, I like that one. I don't really have a good display system right now. They're kind of in the garage, and you know, my wife, if I got some of those Detolf cases that everybody has, I guess she'd be okay with me setting them up. And at some point I'd like to. You know, we just moved into this house a few months ago, and it's a new place, and we're trying to get it all worked out and the way we want it. But anyway, I will display them at some point. I want to, you know, leave it as a legacy for my son and my daughters. I don't have too many She-Ra toys, but I collect the new ones. So anyway, I hope you follow me, or you know, stuck with me through this far. And there's anything you'd like to see, let me know. I mean, I'm your friend, so don't feel bad about leaving me criticisms as well. I'm sure I could take it. I'm a big boy. So anyway, I'm Brandon Jenkins, and this has been episode 1 of My MOTU Memories. All right, thanks.